Okay, so we got another interesting story here today. I think this is a long whale tale, so can't even remember what this has to do with.
So this one looks like it's from Jude, and Jude says, sorry, I have a bit of a cough. Hey man, watching a bunch of your videos, starting first large blackout this month. Not sure if it's gonna be sleeve or half sleeve yet. I've done some large black work in the past, just not a complete blackout. I'm a competent tattooer and spoke to my guy a bunch about the process, etc., but figured I'd reach out and see if you had any advice or insight. Respect what you do in your openness to not looking for technical not looking for technical advice, but obviously open to it. But just general stuff you'd find useful for myself or the customer. Thanks in advance. Also, it's weird to ask or rude to feel free to tell me to fuck off. It came up when tattooers were mean and didn't talk much to each other unless you knew
that's still the case.
Same friends, etc. But things changed since then, and it's rad. Still feel weird asking a stranger for advice, though.
I wouldn't say it's changed that much. There are some people. This is a different one.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking.
There are some people who are more open than others, but overall, I would say the industry is still incredibly closed off, and it's very rare that people exchange information or give secrets away. So, I would disagree with the state of things advancing and being better than they were. I think, if anything, there's more hush hush, because it's everyone wants their clients, so they don't want to share them.
Yeah,
it's getting weird and cutthroat out there.
I think that's a really big part of the reason why a lot of the apprentices that come from our shop seem to be really good really fast, is because we have a community in our shop.
Yeah, people get big quick here.
Yeah, but there's 4 artists raising an artist instead of 1 artist raising an artist.
Yeah, it's
right?
Communal.
Instead, other shops where it's a master and apprentice, and you're only getting from that master, and someone else is getting mad at you if you're telling that apprentice stuff. Our shop is just everybody. It's
well, you know what? Not to knock the master-apprentice relationship, because it does have value, but sometimes it's restrictive for the wrong reasons. Sometimes the master is trying to keep his own beak wet.
Yep.
And he's trying to hold his little babies down.
Or her. I can think of
we just dealt with this.
A master in our city that has been doing the same thing, and it's really sad.
We know a tattooer that was ready to go for a long time and was being kept on walk-ins, and has now moved into large scale since coming to our shop.
Killing it.
And is doing a great job and making way more money, because the master apprenticeship relationship there was toxic as fuck.
Yeah, right?
She's just milking their apprentices for money at that point, and offering no wisdom, offering no benefits, no insight. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yeah, I feel super lucky our shop's not like that.
I don't agree in any sense that the industry's in a better place in terms of the secrecy and gatekeeping. I think in some ways it's worse than ever. Maybe I have a unique experience with this because I've seen every toxic bit of this stupid industry. I see it every day. I see so many people, saying things to me that it's why wouldn't you want the industry to advance? Why wouldn't you want, even in our neighbor store, there's that, right? Even in our sister store, there are people who doubt everything we're doing down here.
Oh, I know. I just think that if they saw it firsthand.
I don't know.
Firsthand, as it's happening. And
I don't know that they would. I think some people just like to be, in their own little bubble, and they don't want anything that doesn't suit their agenda. And
I guess.
It's that way in life, but there's a lot of that in this industry. Mm-hmm. So he says he did a full back blackout. He recently, is that what he said? Large black work, just the past, not a complete blackout. I'm a competent tattooer. Spoke to a good blah blah blah. So what he's asking me for exactly? He's going to be doing
advice and stuff about the process, and nothing technical. It sounds like.
I would say take your time. Don't try and do it all at once.
I think telling, for me, it's what I see happening here is there's a lot about telling the client that it's going to be more than one pass.
It should be.
And you're going to need more than one pass.
even sections, do sections at a
Yeah.
time. Don't try and do these one-shot blackouts you see on Instagram all the time.
And then also, I think also really nailing down your care instructions. Like I hear our artists telling their clients when they do blackout, like, or big patches of black, like if the spot is wet, don't apply ointment. Like if it looks like it's weeping, don't put ointment on it, right? Like just like little things like that to help them, because they're not going to know that.
Full saturation needs time to close up. Mm-hmm. But like usually, like for me, like if I have a little spottiness, like it's probably okay. But like if you see a whole lot of plasma, yeah, just let it dry up. But I mean, I would just say don't do too much, and maybe for the first session, especially on a new client that you have, or like someone you haven't done black work on before, just do a decent size and see how it heals, so that you can adjust whatever you need to adjust before you get into bigger sections. Like when Rick started blacking out my legs, we started real small, and then once he figured out like kind of how I was healing and how it was working out, it was like, okay, well, let's ramp this thing up.
Right.
And suddenly you're doing bigger sections at a time and you're making more progress. So I would just say just start small and work with that, go from there.
I think it's important to be mindful with your mag groupings too. We've been noticing for people's skin types as well, something that
The big boys can really wreck someone.
if
Sometimes.
they have really like soft skin, sometimes it's okay to move back to some of the smaller sizes just to not.
A 27 isn't that small.
Well, but you know, it's like a 49.
All of my black work was done with a 27.
Yeah.
It was only my back that was done with bigger than that. So
Right.
like 23s and 27s are big enough. People have gotten into these like novelty mags, but like realistically, all of that shit was being done years ago with much smaller mags than these big 123 weed whackers that we see these days.
Well, and that's what I'm trying to say too, is you don't always have to use the weed whacker because it looks cool.
I think it's like a meme, or like people get into the joke of it almost, and they're like, yeah, I want to do that.
Right.
Yeah, blood shovel, yay.
Yeah. So we'll move on to the next one. This one looks like it's from Ryan. It says, "Hi Remy, had a cover up 13 years ago and always wanted to change it, but can't find an artist that has the creativity / patience to help me. I've considered Blackout, but so much uncertainty around this. Red koi and blue henna are covering a badly done dragon underneath. Constant reminder of a vulnerable 16-year-old me who had no patience. Do you have any thoughts on this? And can it be transformed into a decent tattoo?" Oh,
See,
goodness.
like my mind with these, like especially when they're like this, where this is like a big blob monster. Mm-hmm. It's like the obvious answer, and like we see it every day now. We just did the episode of the Anthony Bennett Color on Black and the Feel Good tattoo and all the stuff that we're doing here at the shop. Like this is a fairly easy fix.
Yeah.
Like this is almost no work. Like you understand that like this is almost no work.
Right. Well,
Like,
it doesn't. There's no scarring that I can see.
Well,
like
there's
it doesn't
probably
look,
some.
but it's not as bad as like some things.
But like what you would, I mean, if you want to work with what's here, you could get a harder outline on the koi, and you could get a sharp outline on the mask, and try and like divide them up and put some light blue at the start of that mask and light red at the start of the koi. Like you could try and work with what's going on here, but like to me, it's like why not just fucking black the goddamn thing out and then do a new one.
Do exactly what you want.
Yeah, like there's a guy. Go look up Clayton Diaz. He does this Japanese over blackout, like, and it's brighter than what you have on negative space. Like he's literally, his color is brighter over black than this guy's color is over negative space.
Right.
And that's not that hard to achieve either. Like I have tones on this arm that are brighter than that now. Like so it's very easy for me to understand, like getting my mind around, doing something else here.
Yeah, and like for me again, like it's just that age old, like this is why we don't tattoo 16-year-olds.
Wow, but like I don't know what, like, because it's hard too, because like 18 I don't even think is enough for some people.
Wow, I also agree with that. But
Like you don't age on a clock. You
No.
know? Like I feel like I could have got tattooed when I was 12 and it would have been fine, because like whatever, I'm gonna cover up everything I had first anyway. So like for some people it's different than others. I don't know that those. I mean, it's definitely not a good idea to lower the age requirement to get tattooed, but I don't know what the age should be. I don't know. It's a funny question, but like, I don't think that I'm looking at anything here that can't just be completely bulldozed and remade.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that like a good artist could just remake this whole tattoo.
But being able to see the thing through the koi is really sad.
I know.
Like,
I
it just feels
seriously
like
just think,
irresponsible tattooing.
I mean, the Hanya mask is way better, but I would just like, yeah, just black it out.
These are also terrible photos too.
They are terrible photos. I think this is probably a lot brighter than it's showing.
But in order to full on cover this up without blacking it out, it's your whole arm, most of your shoulder, and some of your back, most likely. Like, or you go to an Andre Makishi, who's another guy that we featured on here, and he just does opaques over it, and this goes away.
Yep.
Right? Like, he just goes, oh, you don't have a tattoo. And
Yeah,
it's like, what do you
just-
mean? Yeah, I do. It's like, oh, no, you don't have a tattoo because I'm going to just
Run it over with my
yeah,
opaques.
I'm just going to make it go away.
Yeah.
And that guy can do, like, there are guys like wizards with opaques that can like just be indifferent to the tattoo that's there. But like, that's going to be a long road too. That might take longer than the blackout cover up too, because like that's still going to be multiple sessions. It's not going to be like a 1 or 2 session thing. That's probably like 4 or 5 sessions.
Yeah.
So, but like, if you were to black out half of your arm, and then you do that in like, say, a session, you could probably do most of it in a session, maybe 2. Say 2, just to be safe. And then you come in and you do new image in white and black on black, first pass. Then you do a second and third pass on the white, if you want to do any color or whatever. And you're in 4 or 5 sessions. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's it. And all you have to wait is, you only have to wait a few months to do that too.
I'm just like, my other like wonder for this.
We did in 3 weeks.
I mean, this is my other wonder for this person too. Like it sounds like they've maybe talked to a couple artists in the area. Do you think they'd have to travel to get this done, or like, do you think it's just about like having good communication with a bunch of different shops in your area
You
and just finding the right
definitely
one?
don't have to travel to do this.
Yeah.
Like, Ashland just did one of these.
I know, but I think Car Shop is kind of an anomaly.
Well, no, here's what it is. It's artists that don't have their heads up their asses. Like this guy, most of these guys are like cavemen, right? They're just like scared of fire.
I don't know.
But it's like, it's been proven now. There's no debating it. It's a proven method, especially if you're just looking to get white and black on black. Like, that's been a proven method for ages now. Like, that's not experimental. There's no debating that. That's just a thing. Like,
Yep.
it
just works.
But like, there's still some people who don't believe in it. It doesn't mean those people couldn't do it themselves. Mm-hmm. But like, it just means that they need to get their mind around new methods. Mm-hmm. And like, when they do, we won't have these cover-up problems.
No.
Like, this guy would be... Imagine if this guy goes to a shop and there's a Terry or an Ashland, or even like, I'm there, you know?
Yeah.
A guy who just knows. It's like, oh, okay, we're going to get you set up. Like, no problem. We'll take care of that for you. It's like, imagine the peace of mind. It's like, okay. And then you go, what do you want to be there? And it's like, you can put anything you want there. You don't have to work with what's there already.
Well, I think like he's got a decent looking gray mask on the inside. Like, he could do something like that on the outside.
You want to do a big Hanya mask on the outside,
Right.
white and black on... Like, suddenly when you're open to that logic, now you can do whatever tattoo you want. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you're doing traditional old school cover-ups, a lot of times you have to do what the artist says will work.
Right.
Right? It's like, well, you got a lot of these tones, so we got to do a big underwater scene, or we got to do like a space thing, like horror sleeve with zombies and whatever the fuck else, because it's got to be dark to hide these colors, right? Whereas with this method, you go, oh, you want a soft flower? Sure, we can do that. Oh, you want a little spaceman? Sure. You want a dragon? Sure. Like, anything, any tattoo you can do. So I would say try and find an artist that's willing to listen and willing to learn. Good luck with that.
Yep.
But you definitely don't need to travel. Terry was a fucking 2-year apprentice when he started doing this shit on me. She just started doing this stuff when she was like 6 months in.
I know. Yeah.
Same as Alicia. She did one of these on a girl's neck when like 6 months into being here. So it's like, it's not a divine art.
No, you just got to be able to pack.
Yeah, well, and even then, like, it's not as hard as packing some things. Like, there's harder things to do. I don't know. I've seen this stuff enough where, like, Terry has done these now enough times, and then I've seen his Blackout, and Terry's Blackout is worse than his Color Over Black. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's a weird thing. Like, to watch, you're like, oh, you would think that the Blackout would be easier. Mm-hmm. But, like, because Blackout is just a big one surface, it's like if there's any variation, you're going to see it. That's what makes a guy like Hood such a big name, because his black is just so, like, smooth, right? Yeah. Like, it's so solid in one tone.
He's got a technique down.
Right. There's a few of them like that. Whereas when Terry does Blackout, it's decent. But, like, there's some inconsistency there.
Right.
But, like,
but he's not doing it every day, all day, every day. Right?
What's more impressive to people is when he covers it. Mm-hmm. So, and that seems to be the easier thing to do, oddly enough. So I definitely don't think you need to travel. You just need to find someone willing to listen, open-minded. That's all.